Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX. Welcome back to Let's Play Okamiden. In the last episode, Chibi and Kurow, we went back in time to stop Akuro from meeting Orochi or whatever he's trying to do, because he's evil, he's trying to coat the world in darkness. And we're also in mid-air above the ocean. Boy, time portal thing, you really didn't work very well now, did you? Yeah, you sort of just dropped us off at a very not convenient spot. Way to go. And before we drown, though, luckily for us, you know, obviously the heroes aren't just going to just drown. We'll find a little bit of salvation well, as the cutscene takes forever. There we go, a boat. So, conveniently enough, a boat shows up. So don't forget, guys, we're now 9 months in the past. This is actually during Okami, the whole Orochi thing. Orochi was still alive back then, so this is like early Okami, you know, the original Okami game. This is actually when it's taking place now. Which might lead you guys to think of what exactly the ship that we are on is. I'll reveal that more for those of you who haven't caught on yet, or those of you who are just not completely unfamiliar with Okami. But this ship is important. Anyway, so we're on the Goryo. I actually might get away right there. I don't remember if the name Goryo has ever been mentioned before. It probably has somewhere in all those history stuff. But we're actually on the Goryo, old ship way back in the past. And we're gonna hopefully be able to use find some information here about Akuro, or at least, you know, what we can do to find him, hunt him down, what he's trying to go after, anything we can use to stop Akuro, because he is clearly evil, he's clearly super powerful, and we need to do something about this. But for now, guys, we are on a boat, and as we watch this, I love the captain. He's such a cool guy. He's definitely one of the cooler characters in this game. He's the captain. He doesn't need a name. He is Captain McCapterson. And that's really all that's important. Plus, he has a boat in his head. His head is a boat. He has a boat for a... Oh, okay, so his hat is a boat. He has a boat for a hat. How freaking cool is that? And I don't know even the way he's wearing his chest there. It's like wearing like an orb on his chest. I don't know. But he's just such a cool guy. Captain of a boat who doesn't afraid of anything. But someone, yes, clearly someone should know who Akuro is. Or at least what we can do to... Akuro, I'm going to keep pronouncing his name. It's Akuro. I keep calling him Akuro or something like that, but whatever. You know who I mean. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to explore the boat. That's pretty much this episode is boat exploration. And this whole water, ocean segment, this is going to take about 4 episodes or so. There's going to be a lot to do. Not necessarily on the boat, but just in this general area. There's going to be stuff and things. But, yep, Goryo. That's going to be our 9 months ago. It even tells you right there. So, yeah, I know some people were asking about the timeline last video, and it is really confusing, the whole timeline thing, because, I mean, it is 9 months ago. It explicitly states that, you know, Okami took place 9 months ago from where we just ended up, you know, in the storyline. Yet, clearly, you know, we started the game 9 months, so either no time has passed throughout the entire story, which, yeah, it's possible, we didn't do that much in the story, but then, you know, the whole fireworks thing, Kagura's training, the whole there are things that either imply, like, either the train literally did take, you know, 2 seconds, like it actually seemed to, and, you know, the whole Ayami getting sick took place within days, or, you know, the whole wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey thing is screwed up. We went back through a time portal, and then went through another time portal, and time, it's weird. Honestly, I'm just going to chalk it up to this being a plot hole they just left in the game, or something with the translation, probably, because in case you guys haven't noticed, the translation for this game is not really top quality, which is unfortunate. You'd think Capcom would take a lot of time to actually, you know, make sure a translation of an Okami game. I mean, yeah, it's not, you know, not one of their biggest series, but it's still a pretty major. I did that thing again where I did the door backwards. Blah. But you think, you know, they would take the time to make sure the translations were top notch, but unfortunately, it is a bit mediocre, as you can see. Anyway, there's not really anything to do there. There was a masterpiece we got earlier. It's the only masterpiece we're gonna find on the boat. So really, the only major item we need to worry about, we already got. Well, there might, I'm not sure if these treasures that you can find here are missable or not. I think there's one that might be, but I don't know that for sure, and I would be surprised if it was, to be honest. But the main part of the boat is over here in this section, so we're going to just go ahead, head down, and see what we can find. There's a door here, so unfortunately we're not going to have our shortcut quite yet. It would make sense to have shortcuts to things that we haven't been to already. It's not how it works. The door is always barred from the other side in RPGs and action games. It's just how it always is. It's never barred on our side. It's never barred on the convenience side. No, it always has to be the other end that's locked. Well, screw you too, game. But we're actually going to get a cutscene here with actually one of the other really cool characters of this boat. I love this guy. This is the most badass old man ever. And just like the captain, his name is Old Sailor. That's really all they're ever going to call him. He's just always going to be Old Sailor. He's so badass he doesn't need a name. Old Sailor is his name. It's kind of a bit of an awkward name, actually. His mom was like, hey, look at this cute baby. We're going to call him Old Sailor. Or maybe Old's his first name and Sailor's his last name. Like, oh, we're going to call this baby Old. Boy, he must have gotten picked up on in high school. But regardless, this is Old Sailor. As you can see, he's a bit hard of hearing being an Old Sailor. And also, I love this part right here. He's like, what, Akuro? And everyone's like, yes, we finally found information. That didn't take long. And everyone gets all excited. And he's like, nope, haven't heard of him. You old man, getting us hyped up for nothing, you douchebag. But he's a cool guy. You'll see why later on. He ends up being a pretty badass character. Luckily, though, he's going to point us in the right direction, being an old man. Because, you know, old man, they always help the hero. You know, take this, it's dangerous to go alone, sort of thing. But there's a jewel, apparently, the knowing jewel, which will tell us information of everything, including Akuro. But it's at the bottom of the ocean. Kurow seems a bit nervous about the ocean. That's going to come into play later. Kurow apparently has a little bit of fear of the ocean, actually. So that's going to come into play. Convenient little plot device for something coming up in the future. You'll see next episode. But yes, apparently our quest is going to find this knowing jewel. It appears to be the only thing in existence that's going to be able to help us learn about Akuro. So, to the bottom of the sea, guys, that's what we're going to do. But how do we get there? How do we even begin to get to the bottom of the sea, to the place where this knowing jewel is? Well, it's at the Sage Shrine, actually. The game actually just revealed it. But how do we get there once again? Well, the captain apparently knows the way. But the way isn't exactly what you'd expect it to be. And it's actually rather interesting. This whole part of the plot, the whole Goryo part of the plot, is just so interesting because you're gonna see how much. If you played Okami, you're gonna recognize, maybe not in this episode, but in like later episodes, just how much this whole part ties into the original Okami. This whole going back to the past thing, especially this part, this whole section of the game, it really does fill in a lot of gaps on Okami and explain kind of what happened. From some things that weren't explained in the original. Anyway, magnetism will help you out here. You just have to sort of wait here for a little bit for the magnetism to wear off, and they'll bring you back up here. And you can keep going. We're going to actually make our way back to the captain. I could have cut this out, I guess, but whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. Besides, I had to show up how to get back up here anyway, because you don't. You might not realize, hey, well, obviously you have to use magnetism. The symbol's right there. Really, if you just follow the symbols in this game, it really doesn't try to trick you that much. It's not going to be like, hey, this is iron, but we're not going to tell you it's magnetic iron. No. No, it's going to be pretty blatant, like, hey, guys, this is magnetic iron. Which, you know, on the one hand, yeah, thanks for giving us the clues, developers, saving us some mental power. On the other hand, though, it is sort of almost hand-holding. And that is a complaint that a lot of people have with this game. Is there is a lot of hand-holding. The game does, take its time to make sure you know what you're doing, which is maybe not as fun. I mean, it's kind of fun to explore and figure it out for yourself, but some of these things would be so. The clues can be nice sometimes. Well, anyways, Urohime, the leader of the Queen of the Mermaids, or whatever she is. We're gonna need her in order to get the Sage Shrine. Makes sense. Luckily, the captain seems to be on good terms with her. Unfortunately, he lost the conch shell that you need to use to summon her. So the rest of this episode, guys, we're going to be exploring even deeper into the ship. Once again, going through this whole passage all over again to find ourselves the conch shell and be able to summon Urohime. And stuff's going to go from there. Make our way over to the Sage Shrine. Make our way to the bottom of the ocean. That's how far we need to go to beat Akuro. We will go where no man has gone before. Well, no man or no Moon Tribe person or dog, I guess. Little extra thing you can do for praise. Even though I don't need the praise, I'll go ahead and do it anyway. You need to fix the cage and save Finzi the shark. Poor Finzi. Why would you have a pet shark, though? That just seems like all sorts of bad idea right there. A pet shark. I don't know, dude. Doesn't seem like a very smart move. But we need, once again, we get to finally use our rejuvenation technique here. Fix the glass, because that's what we can do. And of all the powers, it's not one of the cooler ones, the ones that would be really useful to have in real life, the power to fix something that's broken. That's always a pretty cool power to have. So, pretty awesome. But we also need to add the water back in. Luckily, there is water on the floor here, so we just need to use water spout to bring it into the container. Fill up the thing, and look at that, guys! We saved Fizzy the shark. Clearly, we are heroes. I mean, what sort of hero can just, go about, yeah, okay, stop the ultimate evil, sure, but guess what? You let the shark die. You're just a horrible freaking person. No, okay, obviously optional. Give ourselves a nice chunk of praise, though, surprisingly. I mean, we'll keep collecting. The praise will actually show up in that meter down there until we actually max out the meter, and then just nothing will happen from that point. You'll see. Because I do believe we will be able to max out the meter. I'm sure there's enough praise left in this game where we will be able to. There's still actually quite a bit of... I wouldn't say quite a bit, but I'd say at least another bar's worth of praise before the game runs out. You'll see. Anyways, is there any treasure up here? No, not really, but we'll go ahead and refill our ink while we're up here. And then what we need to do is, once again, use magnetism, because you can see magnets, and how do they work? Well, you just draw the magnets to the magnets, and then magnets over there, because surprisingly, the magnet's the way you get the anchor over there. You wouldn't think magnetism would be the best way to move an anchor, but what do you know, just flips over. That could have easily killed us. If the magnet didn't drag it far enough, that could have hit us in the face and killed us. Or killed that guy. But luckily, through the power of science and magic, everything worked out okay. Anyway, what we need to do next is, we need to basically destroy that wall using this cannon. A regular bomb won't be enough. We need to sort of do this properly, although this is not the easiest thing in the world. As you can see, every time you press it, Kurow says that stupid phrase, but here we go. I think about 3/4, maybe? Maybe not add that much. We're gonna let it go a little more. Okay, Kurow, we get the picture. Shut up. This might be... let's just see how this works, and we can sort of gauge from here what we need to do. It's gonna... yeah, that fired way too early. So it's about a 100-degree angle, so we need to do it when it's pointing straight down. So we're for it to point straight down. I think this should be good enough. Let's go ahead and draw the bomb, and hopefully we can get behind her. You do want to get this, by the way. Very important thing back here, as you're going to see in a little bit. Although, at this point, you don't really need this one, but it's not too hard to get, so it's a good idea to come get this. Because we actually will be able to get this in a future area as well before we even gain access to the Yakushi village, because there's a lucky coin. And we now have 5 lucky coins, which means we can actually once again upgrade our weapons to something even more powerful. It's the same way we upgrade, we'll need our demon skins and our demon bones and all that stuff. We'll need demon bones and even skins and demon livers for that. But we don't actually have any demon livers yet. Luckily for us, we'll actually be getting them soon. That being said, we don't have access for Yakushi village for quite a long time in the plot. And we actually could get another lucky coin by that point. So that lucky coin, not the most important thing in the world if you miss it. Like I said, you don't need all 8. There's 8 of them in the game. You don't need all 8 for everything to be good. You only need 5 to max out your weapons. Getting all 8 is actually pretty useless. But it is pretty cool to get all 8 anyway, sure they all are. But technically we now have enough to get the ultimate weapons in the game, surprisingly. Not very climatic, I guess. There isn't really many weapons in this game. Speaking of weapons, we're at this guy who's like, hey, I think his name's Ganbei or something like that. Benkei, okay, that wasn't even close at all. But basically he's like, I want your flute sword, because believe it or not, guys, Kurow's flute is a sword. His flute is, in fact, a sword. You might not know that. But, well, if you've seen Okamiden, you saw King Fury, his flute was a sword too. Or whatever he had. So, Moonstrike people, they have instrument weapons, and this guy, he collects swords, and he wants the sword flute to add to his collection for his 100th weapon. Luckily, old sailor dude's like, hey, there's a living sword in the capital city, have that one instead. So luckily this guy won't be a douche and make us give up our flute sword, because that flute sword's so cool. You'll see it in action later, don't worry. You'll actually get to see the flute sword later on. Don't worry, there'll be fun times in the future. Oh, the game does get rather interesting later on, especially the whole Kurow storyline. Because his storyline is going to continue to get more in-depth later on. Anyway, old man, once again, being the huge trickster he is, he tricked him. The living sword's actually a swordfish. So basically, Benkei, whatever his name is, whatever his name is, he's going after a swordfish now. Whoops! I don't think he's going to be so interested in that. He doesn't want Endgard. No! Diddy Kong Country reference, or Donkey Kong Country 2, 3, whatever reference. History. There's going to be a couple of history scrolls we can get here. A couple of nice treasures. But basically what you do is we need to find a key, which will gain us access to the treasure room. You can bet your briskets that the conch shell will probably be in that treasure room. Why the captain would know that? I mean, gee, if you have a rare treasure like that conch shell, where are you going to put it? Oh, I don't know, maybe your treasure room? It's there for a reason, dude. But while we're here, we can actually go ahead and unlock this barrier, and we can now make it back up to the top of the ship relatively quickly. And in the meantime, though, we actually have a sort of a box maze here, which is actually kind of cool. I like this little area, little box maze. As you can see, there's magnetism sections. Once again, they make them pretty blatantly obvious. And if it wasn't obvious enough, this guy's like, hey, some of these crates are iron, dude. And unfortunately, we can't just like slash through the crates. I mean, it makes sense. Just use power slash break through the crates. No, we're too good people for that, so we're just going to move them around with magnetism and sort of use that to make our way through this area. There are a couple treasures we can pick up on the way here, though, so it's probably a good idea to go ahead and do that. There's going to be one, well, there's actually one, we're going to have to move this block over to the right in order to access one of the treasures, so we're going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and do that. And as you can see, you can sort of see a little bit from the side there, one magnetism does move multiple blocks, so you will be moving sort of the whole puzzle around, or a large section of the puzzle with each magnetism, basically whatever's on screen at the time, I guess. And we want to repel these ones, get them all out of the way. As you can see, yeah, it moves all three of them because all three were on screen. So that makes sense. Anyways, we need to go ahead and grab, there's a treasure up here I believe we can grab, but first while we're here, we'll go ahead and magnetism this one in so we can make our way through. As you can see, I moved the rest of the ones off screen so that the magnetism won't affect them. It affects everything on screen, even if it's just a smidgen on screen, it'll still affect them. So that's how it works. It has a pretty long range, magnetism does. Anyway, another one of those little clay statue things, nothing too important. We're just going to go ahead and make our way down. This actually should, yeah, we're going to be perfectly in the clear now, so everything's nice and open. And then these ones over here, we actually need to destroy these ones, ironically, with a bomb. So, after all this effort of not destroying crates, we end up blowing up two of them anyway. That's precious cargo you just destroyed, you douchebag, but whatever, we got ourselves the door key right there. Little easy shortcut back here, and all we need to do is head back to the area, grab what's inside, and make our way back to the captain. So not too shabby indeed. There are some nice treasures, though, in the treasure room, so I'll go ahead and make sure I show them all off and get them all, because all the treasures are good. I think there's another history scroll in there, and I do want to show off all the history scrolls. I haven't missed any yet, so I do intend to get 100% of the history scrolls either. They're just not important towards getting anything major post-game. They're just nice little things to read, I guess. So I will show those off towards the end of the game, probably after post-game extra stuff. I'll read off all the history scrolls. We're gonna have sort of a reading session. Anyway, the conch shell's right here, so we got what we needed. We got what we've explored the ship for. This is actually the entirety of the ship right here. And there's the history scroll I was talking about. There's also two treasures back here, including a seashell. I think that might be a new treasure. I'm not entirely sure. I think there's other places you can find these seashells, but there is one right here that you probably want to pick up, just so you have it, just to make sure you've gotten it. May as well pick it up here. And then in Inkstone, we already have plenty of those. We already have the silver watch we found earlier as well. We have a lot of the treasures already. But in this whole, in the past section, we're going to be finding a lot of new treasures actually, and we're going to be fighting especially a lot of new enemies. In fact, I don't think we fight any single enemy from the first part of the game anymore. They're all these new enemies that we found that are all going to be found in the past, which makes sense. You know, the past would have different enemies than the present would. You know, it all sort of makes sense. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end the episode here. This is LuckySevenDX signing out. See you guys later, where we basically give the stuff to the captain. Bye.